athlete here. What we're doing at the CSPOA, there's a small opportunity and a small window, I believe, to still keep this movement for freedom and to restore our constitutional republic in a peaceful manner. And I believe that. I believe we can. We have an obligation as Americans and as Christians and as brothers and sisters of this great country to try to do this and stand now so our children and grandchildren don't have to fight later. This is a peaceful process. I wrote a book to every sheriff, and every one of you needs to read this book. It's The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. And I want to give it to this beautiful little girl over here. I wanted to give it to her mother so she could give it to her neighbor. What a beautiful little girl. And this is all, I'll tell you what, I have 9 grandchildren. This is all for them. And I am so thrilled to be here with all of you today. I look into your eyes and I travel all over the country, and that's what I do with the CSPOA. I just got back from Maryland. This coming week I go to Dallas and then Phoenix. And we're trying to take this message to every one of you. And every place I go, I still look into your eyes and I see one similar thing. Your faces are different, but your eyes still say the same thing. We just want to be left alone, and we want to raise our family without the federal government trying to tell us how to do it. Background check on you for just exercising your Second Amendment rights is an infringement. It's an infringement. And I'll tell you, I'll be the first to line up. I'll be the first to line up for a background check as soon as it's voluntary. But I will not succumb to any of their stupid laws, and that's just one of them. They want you to think about that, and they say, oh, it's a good idea. Well, the Constitution, in my Supreme Court case, Justice Scalia said, the Constitution protects us from our own best intentions. And that's where we are today. We're not going to compromise any of the Second Amendment. We're not going to allow any infringements because gun control and infringements are against the law. That's right. Once you start giving them authority they do not constitutionally have, where does it stop? That's what's brought us here today. It's to stop today.
Another Waco.
We have, and what about those horrible incidents? What about the worst mass killings in American history? They try to blame them on citizens. It's always been government. You can look at Kent State, you can look at Ruby Ridge, we can look at Waco. If the sheriffs, I will tell you this, if the sheriffs had remained in charge of any of those places, the law would have been enforced and no one would have been killed. When I was first studying the Constitution, I did so at a police training class. And the instructor's name was Dr. W. Cleon Skousen. And he taught us, as law enforcement officers, about the Constitution. And I was converted to the Constitution as a rookie cop way back in 1983. And then when I ran for sheriff, I said, we will enforce the Constitution here. We will abide by the Bill of Rights. You would think that would be a simple thing for those who have sworn to do that they would actually be able to focus and keep their word in expressing their defense of the Bill of Rights, the supreme law of the land. And yet we still have problems with that today, that people don't understand their obligation to keep their word and keep their oath. And so, when Dr. Skousen was teaching me, he handed me his book, and it was called The Making of America. And I traded him a book. 10 years later, I wrote my first book, and I gave him my book. And he told me something that I'll never forget. He said, he challenged me to do this, and he said, promise me that you'll teach these things to your children. Well, I have. I kept my promise, and now I teach them all across America, and we're teaching sheriffs and cops all across America. And I've started teaching them to my 9 grandchildren. And the oldest one is barely 6 years old. And her name is Libby, because she was born on the 4th of July. And her name is Liberty. Liberty LaDawn Mack Hardy. And so I want you to know that what I learned at police training, I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to end my remarks with this. When 240 cops went to the University of Utah in Salt Lake City to learn about our Constitution and our oath of office and the foundation of America and the making of America, and what a miracle this all was, and how we today have an obligation to make sure that miracle never dies. And we are the result of that miracle. And it's because we've adhered to the principles that we will not bend on the principles expressed in the Bill of Rights. And when the Founding Fathers developed the Bill of Rights, they said, these are the untouchables by government. These are the strict rules that government can never cross. They can never change, alter, or legislate anything about these precious freedoms. And that's what they had in mind. And that's why the Second Amendment is so vital to America and to freedom. And they want us to get in this argument as to whether or not there is a statistical analysis that proves that gun ownership is safer and reduces crime. It doesn't matter. Gun control in America is against the law. They promised in God's name that they would protect and preserve your constitutional rights, and chief among those are the Bill of Rights, and chief among those is the Second Amendment. It seems like the books I've written, he mentioned the magic of gun control, and that's it right here. And the magic of gun control, some people have actually asked me, well, do you think there's some good to gun control? And I said, if there was ever any good to gun control, it would be magic. Thus the title. If you want magic, go to Disneyland or go see David Copperfield in Las Vegas. But I made up a new word for this book. And this book just came out a year ago, and it addresses every one of the issues that we're talking about today, including the mass shootings. That breaks our heart when we see those things. And we know that they could have been prevented, and a lot of these lives could have been saved had one of us been there. And I pray that we will continue to be a little bit more intelligent in our approach to how we protect children, instead of telling every thug and maniac and lunatic that our schools are all gun-free zones. How stupid can you get? Dedicated to the Founding Fathers, and I dedicate it to my children and yours, and to my grandchildren and yours. And this was a little kindergarten exercise that I learned again. I learned this at police training. But I think it's so apropos to what we're doing here today. And I call it America's political prayer. It might not be a prayer, but then again, it might be the only one we have left. And again, remember that what I share with you now, I learned at police training. And it goes like this. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. And that's the eagle. Long may she be free. Amen.
Was Annie O'Hagan. 17 years after the Rising, and 12 years after the birth of the Republic of Ireland, Annie O'Hagan too gave birth to a little baby girl who one day would give birth to me. Whether we know it or not, we leave our fingerprints on the fabric of time. I asked her once where she had found the courage to do what she did, the will to risk losing everything over what seems to be such a hopeless cause. After all, I had been raised in America. I had never known anything but freedom. I had never felt the tyrant's lash. She told me, you do not know what you have here. Never let them take it away. Then what she meant. But I do know now that the tyranny that my grandmother risked her life to overthrow is the very same tyranny which our founding fathers risked their lives, their fortunes, their sacred honor. We can do no less. We must never let it emerge again. Today to shed our blood in exchange for our freedom. We are called upon, however, to honor the sacrifices of those who did, all those who now rest beneath flag-fueled fields and cross-covered hills in every corner of this earth. We are called upon today to heed the warning of our founding fathers who knew that freedom could be a fragile and fleeting thing, who knew that if the people were not vigilant, that liberty could vanish like a puff of smoke in a warm breeze, and who knew that in order to defend a secure state, the right of the people, the inalienable, inalterable, unretractable right of the people to keep and bear arms must not, cannot, and shall not be infringed.
Now we can see a new world coming into view. A world in which there is the very real prospect of a new world order.
The new world order does not mean surrendering our national sovereignty or forfeiting our interests.
when your ears refuse to hear. You turn your heart away from me each time when I draw near. Your eyes refuse to meet with mine, they glance away in fear, as if you should not look at your reflection in the mirror. How can I explain to you when you won't understand? You scoff me and you mock me and reject the truth at hand. You spread your vicious rumors all across this troubled land. You willfully and knowingly transgress from his command. Your mind has been made up for you by people you don't know, whose thought machines control the scene so well it doesn't show. How can I contain this anguish and this pain, knowing that your eyes are blinded by the lies? Have your eyes been blinded by the lies? Have your eyes been blinded by the lies? Yes, your eyes are blinded by the lies. Yes, your eyes are blinded by the lies. Every time I think about the damage that's been done, the anger wells inside me till I'm almost overcome. I want to tear the moon out of the sky and drop the sun. Why do I feel so all alone, like I'm the only one? Even though your eyes are open, they may never ever see. Your mind may never comprehend this sinful subtlety. Your heart may never hunger for the truth that sets you free. Your soul may know the darkness of divine eternity. Like petty thieves who plunder in the shadows of the night, they break inside and enter through the windows of your mind. How can I control this poisoning of the soul? These lies that blind your eyes, blinded by the lies. Have your eyes been blinded by the lies? Have your eyes been blinded by the lies? Yes, your eyes are blinded by the lies. Yes, your eyes are blinded by the lies. Thought machine controls the scene so well it doesn't show. How can I contain this anguish and this pain, knowing